Shouts out to the King Venom, the CEO of Theta Boy Entertainment, the hottest label from Mississippi.
Blunt talk, if it's on your mental, speak on it. Blunt talk, inhale deep stress release on it. Blunt talk, if it's knowledge that you seek, homie. Blunt talk, blunt talk.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Flames, PFlames. You are now rocking with the best. You are now tuned in to Blunt Talk TV podcast. Shout out to Theta Boy ENT.
Universal greetings, kings, queens, guys, and goddesses. You are now tuned in to the Blunt Talk TV podcast, where we break down issues with entrepreneurs, independent artists, producers, CEOs, and activists. Sprinkle in some dope independent hip-hop from across the country and roll it up in a fire package for you. Kick back, roll up, and match one with King Venom's Blunt Talk TV podcast, Trey 300. Universal greetings, kings, queens, guys, and goddesses. Once again, you are now tuned into the Blunt Talk TV podcast. We have another dope artist who is taking time out of his busy schedule, coming straight out of Nebraska. I'm talking about making noise, making waves, holding it down for the hip-hop community. Blunt Talk TV fam, welcome to the show, Flames.
Yo, what up? Thank you for having me. I've been waiting to get here for a minute, man.
Man, all is well, King. I appreciate you taking time out your schedule, man. I've been tapped into what you have going on, tapped into your movement, man, tapped into what you got going on sonically. Like, you're dope, not just with your flows, but as well as how you create your sonics for your entire package. Bruh, I just really want to just dive deep and really understand, like, what's your mission statement with this hip-hop game, bro?
I keep it pretty simple, man. Like, my whole purpose is to make dope content and to reach out here and just create dope shit with dope people. I mean, whether it comes to collaborating or producing for others, writing for others, whatever, just reaching out and connecting with people and making dope shit happen. Like that's what the culture is all about. And I'm an old head, so I'm all about the culture.
Man, I wouldn't even consider you an old head. I just consider you a purist, man. I personally feel like music has no age on it. I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of people just really misconstrue, and they try to just say, hip-hop is just a young man's game. It's just one of the youngest forms of music. But you don't never really see R&B or country or any other form or genre of music, jazz or what have you, sit there and try to put a limitation on age. And honestly, I really feel like those who really embody what hip-hop means, they transcend their age. Because once you put your voice on that track, you're timeless.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Like I've been, I feel like at this age, I'm just hitting my stride. Because like when I first got into it, it was young man shit. But then I kind of grew up and got to see life from a different angle. Most people, by the time they get a certain age, they kind of move into something else. But I feel like, we just getting started. We just getting started. You get past 30, you really just now living life. Like all your experiences, everything you got to talk about, you could talk about from the other side. When you're young, you're trying to get there, you're trying to get to that level. But nobody really talks about what goes on once you kind of hit that level, what comes out on the other side.
Right.
So I feel like in a lot of ways that's something that is missing, that perspective. Sometimes I think is needed, and still, like, there's certain shit that I want to hear that, some of the young cats couldn't give me. It just is what it is.
And honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you. I just recently hit that mark. I spoke on it on my last album. That it took 30 years for me to calm down. Like I had to go through my dark period. I had to go through these different spirals and trials to understand and really understand the king that's inside. You feel me? And it takes a while to even once you understand it to convey that message without coming off preachy or coming off like better. It's just this is the experience, and I want you to avoid the pothole that I fell in.
Right. But you don't get that perspective till you fully truly kind of grow up.
Right.
you know, till you reach like a certain level in life that you can look back on, like, man, I was just being hot-headed, or I was just doing this and that, and realize there's much more beauty over here, you know. I mean, and I respect all of it, though, you know, because I don't, you know, downplay or try to downgrade any, you know, anything that I was and went through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just part of the growth. It's part of the process. You know, but I think a lot of people be scared to talk about that, though.
Ooh, that's like what my granddad would say. You know, he couldn't have been who he became if he hadn't, you know, gone through that bootlegging phase, or if he hadn't, you know, went through the period where he was the young man in the Black Panthers. Just like Malcolm X wouldn't be who he is if he wasn't red before. You feel me?
Yeah, I was literally just about to make that analogy. Swear to God. Yeah, that's what it is, man. You gotta go through. You know, you got to go through something, you know, to fully appreciate who you are and who you're becoming. Like, you got to, it's just the same way with, like, you know, grinding and doing the work. You can't skip steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you start skipping steps, you lose something. And, you know, that kind of defeats the purpose. You gotta go through it. And, you know, hopefully come out on the better side of it. You know, not everybody makes it, though. You know, because there was a lot of shit in my younger years that I hated to let go of. But, you know, I wouldn't be the man that I am today if I, you know, would have stayed doing the same old shit. You know, the only real thing that I hate in life is being stagnant.
And, you know, that's the only point of true death is when you become static.
Right.
My granddad used to have a saying was like, decide and homicide, they have something very similar in the root of their meaning, because whether there's a homicide or whether you decide something, there's a death in it. Mm-hmm. So when you make a decision, there's eventually something that you realize that is not positive to whatever you're trying to build, so therefore you have to kill it off. So as men, we're constantly killing off negative entities within ourselves in order to chisel out, you know, that statue within the marble, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. I agree with that 100%, though.
I appreciate that, King.
I agree with that 100%, man. You sound like a wise man. I love it.
Man, every bit of wisdom that I obtain, I give it all to my grandfather. I appreciate him taking time out to even, you know, try to try to give off that light. Even when I was at my most hot-headed moments, I was listening. It's just, you know, my heart was pumping too hard in that situation, and I wasn't able to clearly think. And I appreciate him even just reiterating, so it did resonate over time. And one of the things I do want to just really get into, like, what was one of the things that sparked the birth of your hip-hop journey, bro?
You know, I was always into it. Like, I remember, you know, being like mad young and seeing like Run DMC and all of these things on TV. Mm-hmm. But I think what really, really stuck with me, that second LL album, When I'm Bad, dropped.
Okay, I'm with you.
You know, like that. You know, that really got into my spirit. Like that's a record that resonated with me. And I remember saving, like, skipping lunch at school for weeks, for like 2 weeks on end, so I could afford to go buy the vinyl when, like, the whole album dropped. Like, that was a big deal for me. And then that very next year, I forgot what, Run DMC's Tougher Than Leather tour came here to town, and I got, like, front row seats, and I saw, it was like Public Enemy, Run DMC, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and LL, like, all from the front row. There's moments I feel like that changed my life, and that was one of them. Like, because, you know, it's one thing to hear, you know, a song, listen to a record and get immersed in a record.
Right.
You know, but to be there and, like, feel that energy up close in real life, you know, that...
Feel the beat of the speakers just pressing up against you?
Yeah. And it was, you know, and like I said, I was right down there in the front row. You know, so like everything was right, you know, in my face, and I could feel it like in my bones down there. Like I say, there's moments I liked about hip hop, you know, before then. You know, I liked records, I liked movies, but I think that is the moment when I fell in love with hip hop. You know what I mean? Because like I got, you know, the songs, you know, and everything that, you know, I know the words to. I know this, that, but like to feel it up close and like feel it like embody you with something else. Like to me, that was the moment. You know, I think I fell in love with hip hop. Like if you can see down here, I still got the signed concert poster hanging up in the studio. Like I ran in the run outside smoking when the show was over, and I was able to get autographs and all this right there. You know what I mean? But like, you know, for me, that's the moment I really fell in love with it. And you know, it just grew from there. You know, like, you know, because like I said, I was blessed enough, I feel like, to grow up during what they consider the golden era. You know, so I'm like, at the time that, you know, I'm falling in love with, you know, hip hop and really immersing myself in it, you know, that's when, you know, some of the greatest albums started dropping. That's when, you know, you get like, what's it, 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul, you get the first Tribe Called Quest, you get, you know, everything that I kind of, you know, incorporate into, you know, what I do and look back on. You know, it was all like the coming of age, and I kind of got to experience that firsthand. You know, like seeing, you know, niggas for the first time on Yo MTV Raps and, you know, things like that. You know, I was, you know, a young kid all the way into it. So I got to pick up on so much, you know, and then that doesn't even factor in my musician background already. You know, because like like what really got me into music in general, not just hip hop. You know, and I was, you know, I was always into it a little bit. You know, like my family is real heavy, you know, musically influenced. But I messed around and saw Purple Rain the summer it came out.
Indeed, I definitely remember that movie.
Yeah, man, it was just an experience for me, man. Like, you know, cause I'm gonna go the more we'll talk, I'll tell you I'm a Prince fan and this and that. But up until that moment, you know, I couldn't stand, like, he scared me. You know, like, his older videos and stuff would come on TV and I would, like, leave the room because I was petrified. It was just weird. You know, like,
I ain't gonna lie, like the sound that came out of him was like him and Paisley Park, you know, like,
yeah,
they was all dope. Like, you could tell that they really embodied the craft. Like, of course, you know, me and my granddad were like, as far as like the visual, but I understand what he was trying to do as far as he was trying to shock your mind to where you would freeze for a second to where you had to listen to the music. You know, personally, I can't do it, but hey, more power to him. right. Yeah. But that's the thing, man. So like, and you know, before then, I was all about, you know, the visual. Like, this is, you know, but you know, I'm like little, so I'm like, this is weird to me. But you know, I spent the summer, I guess it would have been like '84, with my cousins and, you know, whatever, who were older, right?
And they were big fans. You know, so since they had to take care of little old me, they drugged me with them to go see this movie. And it was like, for me, it was just like a religious awakening. You know, because I'm like, you know, I'm looking at it, you know, I'm hearing the sounds, I'm seeing how it works with everything. I'm like, and you know, seeing the reactions of the people. And I'm like, man, this is what I want to do.
You got immersed in that
with
energy.
My life. Yeah, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do in my life. So I went home, man, and begged my parents for a guitar for like the next 2 years. And I've been off and running ever since.
Most definitely. And I feel like having those type of experiences at a early age definitely just fortifies the craft in you. Like with me, with hip hop, like my older cousin Aaron, you know, God bless his soul. He passed away, you know, as it was coming up. But he would come from Atlanta, and he came and he had his Walkman and left it on the table. And I kind of, my hip hop journey was kind of reverse engineered because he had Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tupac, Ghetto Boys, and Outkast. Okay. So the first hip hop I ever heard literally was Bone Thugs, and I didn't know I was just imitating what they were saying, but I was repeating word for word. And he was like, "You understand what you're saying?" And I would repeat it again. He was like, "Bro, you rapping?" So he'll write some stuff down. And he'll like say this, and then you know he kind of helped break me out of my shy mode. This is that and the third, and then he started just teaching me. He was like, "All right, this is how they write their bars. This is where they underline this. This is double entendres. This is how you stack your strategy as far as your syllables." And then he would give me homework. He would be like, "All right, here's your 3 dictionaries. Every day I need you to have at least 3 new words added to your vocabulary." And like he would just add you to like different milestones that you had to knock out. And then after that, he pushed me back to looking at Kool Moe Dee. You know, the beginning of battle rap, Kool Moe Dee versus Busy Bee. And then he was like, you know, if you're going to embody hip hop, you got to understand the whole history, where it come from, the 5 pillars of hip hop, and then really be about this. He'll like, because it's always somebody who wants it just as bad as you that's going nonstop. And around that time, like I was picking up on Eminem when he was around the Outsiders. You feel me? I was listening to how he structured his syllables, and even though it was shock rap in it, my granddad pulled me to the side and was like, the reason why he's going so deep, his pain is deep. And my granddad was like, "What is it that you want?" And I told him I wanted to be a great songwriter. He said, "Be careful what you wish for, because whatever you pray for, God is going to put you through the trials and tribulations to where you can now present that feeling, that pain, that love, that joy to people who are listening to you." And, I definitely had to go through that journey. I definitely appreciate every step of the way. And, really the only person that believed in my musical journey was my grandfather. So I appreciate for him fortifying that in me. But, man, I highly appreciate, you sharing with my listenership, like, how you got into it. One of my questions is, like, what artist was the most influential to you crafting your style?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Like, I really, because I feel like I took from so many. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they're, like, I look back and I look at, like, I love the way, Biggie would craft stories.
Okay.
So, like, I paid attention to those kind of details when I was writing. I loved how Jay-Z, no matter what he was talking about, just made everything sound cool.
He gave that ambiance to it, like, that level of luxury.
Yeah, like, it was just different. Because, people, talk designer and name brand and all this other kind of stuff, but he had a way of making it
black excellence in a way.
Yeah, and cool at the same time. Like, it wasn't, I don't know, he almost made it believable. You know what I mean? In a certain way. I think Big Boy from Outkast. Like, I love 3 Stacks. He's one of my favorite, but I feel like somebody who appealed to me more when I was, when I was really formulating what I was doing, was Big. I don't know if it was just something about his cadence, whatever. He's the one that stood out to me, and I wanted to emulate a lot of what he brought to the table.
And see, the crazy thing is, I'm actually the reverse of that coin. See, I love Big Boy. I love how he flowed. He just made everything just sound so pimping. You feel me? It's just his soliloquy is his cadence. But then to me was like, just going back, my grandfather would point out about Outkast. He was like, that one that's being a little wild, the one that's being a little out there, pay attention to him. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, he's the one that was entrenched in the streets, and he trying to run away from the streets. So I was like, all right, cool. I tried to listen, have my ear open a little more. So now I'm listening to how he's crafting his stories, and then like as my granddad was putting me on, you know, my 360 degrees of knowledge and putting me through, you know, different lessons, I was picking up on stuff, just like I was picking up on what Nas was putting down, what Rakim was putting down, what Method Man was putting down, what Hove was putting down. And it was like, okay, it all started to tie in to what I was living. And then I could see, you know, I guess because you was coming from, I guess, a more mature mind state, you was having the more adult, you know, you're going through what Big Boy was talking about at the time, whereas I was going through the philosophical, trying to break through and understand what the world was to me. So yeah, I definitely see that, man.
Yeah, because he just, you know, like I said, I love them both. That's probably one of my favorite groups of all time, you know what I mean? But I think when it came to me crafting the way I was writing, because I think he just kind of went, I started with where I was at when I first got started. I think like I said, it just comes from so many places. Kanye was a big influence, you know, still. Like, I still go back and listen to the first couple albums.
Man, College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation, they're my favorite albums that Kanye put out, just to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's like the Holy Trinity. But, you know, but then, you know, there was something magical and powerful about all of them. You know, and I think, and, you know, for me a lot, I think it was seeing a rapper producer be able to, you know, do all that. Because most times, you know, when you got a rapper producer, they're usually kind of slacking on somewhere.
They're not going all in with both crafts.
Yeah, you know, there's usually something missing. Like, you know, like you look at who was considered the big, I don't know, rapper producers, you know, pre-Kanye, you know, you got like, you know, Dr. Dre, who was phenomenal as, you know, a producer, but, you know, he didn't write nothing.
Right.
You know, so it's one of those things, like, I loved it, but it was still, you know, it was still different. So I feel like, you know, for me, Kanye was like the first one who really was at a point to excel at both.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you could feel what he was talking about. Like, he wasn't just, you know, rapping for the sake of rapping. You know, you could feel what he was talking about. You know, and I felt like a lot, at least in the mainstream, I should clarify that, like in the mainstream, you know, the rapper producers, I felt like they were just more, I don't know, superficial, more puffy-ish.
And I also think kind of with that Kanye, it was more of his mentorship, you know, him coming from the camp of No ID, you know.
Yeah.
And then when you're trying to fight in Rockefeller to come up to even be heard, you know what I'm saying? You really had to scrap with your life, because you had Hove, you had Memphis Bleak, you had Benny Siegel, Freeway. Like, you had to come with it.
Right. You know, so that forced him to be a better artist, because, I mean, no hate me away, but we kind of see what has happened since, you know, he left kind of that, you know, that camp, that group of people. Like, it's, you know, it's not the same for whatever reason. You know, personal stuff aside, it's just, you know, the music ain't the same. You know, but like for him in that era, like for them first three, you know, that trifecta, man, that put me in a position to really believe that you can be, you know, a dope producer and a dope artist on top of that and make it connect with people. You know, because before then, you know, I kind of felt like, you know, at least, you know, doing the little stuff that I was doing, like people were even only really looking at either one or the other. You know, like I was, you know, people just kind of came with this preconceived notion, you know, if your beats are hot, then, you know, lyrically you're probably going to be subpar. Or, you know, if you're a great lyricist and performer, you know, you're probably going to be kind of okay beats. And I'm like, you know, it was finally somebody I felt that was in the mainstream that showed you could excel at both. You know, so I took a lot of pages from his book up until, you know, he got with the Kardashians, and that's when I kind of, you know.
Yeah, he kind of lost his mind.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that.
Like shit, marriage will do that to you. But but nah, like I'm trying to, but like he came from, I feel like there isn't too many artists that I've listened to that I couldn't take something from. Whether it was do's or don'ts. Like there's, never been an artist that I've been a fan of that I couldn't take something from.
Right.
So I just kind of mix it all up and find a way to convey my personality and put that out there.
Indeed. Hey, real quick, Flames, we got some dope independent artists that's about to come for our first music break. Do you mind introducing them?
Oh, hell yeah. Let me get right into it. All right, first up, looks like it's me with Amen. Rockin' Raheem with Rock Bottom. King Venom, Cold Nights. Flames, 1978. Red Zone Reaper, Pour 4. Lavish Mac, Demon. And King Venom, Fresh out of Jones County, featuring Turner Boy.
Yeah, we're gonna freak out, brothers. They say the meek will inherit the earth, but that's a damn lie. The freaks go inherit the earth. Can I get an amen for the freaks? Freaks.
Ladies and gentlemen, all right. You're now rocking with the best, the most incredible. All right. Now I don't know what y'all came to, ladies, but I know what I'm here for. Now let the church say. Now let the people say. Now let the church say. Alright. Now let the people say. Yeah. Look at that. Now let the church say. Baby, your body religious. I'm trying to learn it like a parent's descriptions. Taking you to late night service. Let me serve you with a purpose. Let me show you what your body been missing. Feed the addiction. Beat the prescription. Come get this blessing, baby. Put me in your system. We've been trying to fight this urge for a minute, but nothing tastes better than the fruit that's forbidden. Hope I'm forgiven, cause I love bitches. Thug bitches, shy bitches, it don't matter, they my bitches. Wild divas, loud screamers, and dual seaters. Quick to leave their mans at home like I see ya. Limousine tinted cars just to menage. Half the time we ain't make it past the garage. Keep them speaking in tongues like they caught the Holy Ghost. You ain't heard, I be doing the most. Now let the church say amen. Now let the people say. Now let the church say. Now let the people say. Alright, now let the church say. Baby, your body is banging. I should be praying for redemption when your hips get to swaying. Every head must bow, and so I take heed. Swimming in your holy waters just to cleanse these. Should I repent or should I dive deeper? I came here to take over, but I found ether. Baby, you will keep us in your praises like a hymn. Shall we begin? Churches in session using sex as a weapon. Bow down for this blessing and this offering. Lost in deep strokes to law the linen soap. They might have to burn the bed. Deep is so sinful, but baby it's blissful. And just what you here for. And just why you came, just to holler my name. But we feeling no shame. It's all a part of the game. Just a victim of the lust that come alive when we touch. Now let the church say amen.
Hey.
Now let the people say.
What?
Now let the church say. Now let the people say. Now let the church say.
What? Shit, I heard you a freak, shawty. Lead a club with me, it's a after party. She bout her business, but at night she ain't shipping naughty. Draped in all black, that broad look like 12:30. God, I'm feeling real dirty. Don't talk about your ex, out of respect, bitch. Don't talk about your next. They say I'm too mannish, the way I say take them clothes off. But I'ma do some things to make them legs go up. You can kiss on my tech while I'm feeling on the kitty. Get to biting on them titties, so I lick up on that clitty. Doing Henny where we roll on the table up in Denny's. Girl, I heard you a freak, so don't be childish like the kitty. I'ma lay you down, lay really lay you down. Got a nigga ready to die real deep, so don't be playing around. There's a lot of women on my team, but I just really want you now. Run, put it down, talk to me in Spanish. I find your papers down. And let the people say. And let the church say. And let the people say.
Now let the church say.
Hey, let's turn it up now. Hey,
Now let the church say.
what?
Now let the people say.
Alright.
Now let the church say amen. Yeah. Free schooling, man. Rock bottom, man. Free cool, free hot ball, free scratch out the folk. Yeah, rock bottom, pick y'all head up. Rock me, rock him. I know it get rough sometimes. Yeah. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. Man, I cannot take it. Free big green. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it.
Don't care about how you feel.
You ever hit rock bottom and you felt like giving up? Shit, back against the wall and you was down on your luck. Your friends see you down bad, won't even help you up. And the homies that you had, they won't even stay in touch. Say you're trying to hold on, but your fingers instead of slipping back against the wall like that motherfucker itching. And everybody said I changed, but they all acting different. Had to change my mind frame, now I get the clearer picture, yeah. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. I know why these niggas hating. I am the shit, no toilet paper. My old lady got pregnant. Shit, we have it twin. Little boy and the little girl, man, this shit just got real. I don't know what I'ma do. I could barely pay the bill. I'm happy, but I'm sad. I don't know how the fuck to feel. Fast forward the story, shit. To a couple months later, her hormones going crazy. She emotionally unstable, and I wasn't being faithful. Don't know what I was thinking. Trying to treat her like I'm basic, and I call myself a player. Shit, one night it was me and her riding in the car, and we had a heated argument. I took that shit too far. Yeah, and still to this day it weighs heavy on my heart. I ain't gonna lie, shit deep inside, it's tearing me apart. Yeah, sometimes I sit and cry. I ain't even gonna lie. This shit stay on my mind. This shit stay on my mind. How the fuck could I ever say that I hope them kids die? And I know it's all my fault. I don't have to wonder why. Yeah, a couple weeks later, went to a doctor visit. The nurse did a sonogram and started looking suspicious. She walked away and said, man, the doctor be right with you. But I knew something was fishy. Man, I knew something was fishy, yeah. When they came back, I knew something was wrong. They said, your little girl gon' make it, but your little boy gone, man. Damn, that fucked me up. Shit, rock bottom, man. Damn, that fucked me up. Yeah. You ever hit rock bottom and you felt like giving up? Shit, back against the wall and you was down on your luck. Your friends see you down bad, won't even help you up. And the homies that you had, they won't even stay in touch. Say you're trying to hold on, but your fingers instead of slipping back against the wall like that motherfucker itching. And everybody said I changed, but they all acting different. Had to change my mind frame, now I get the clearer picture, yeah. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. I know why these niggas hating. I am the shit, no toilet paper. Now everything was all good when I first started rapping. I dropped kicking like FIFA, had the whole hood jamming. They like that boy that's snapping. Shit, when he started rapping, he even used his real name. That boy right there ain't acting. I was in the hood for real, throwing foes, you can ask them. From badass Benny to Shady Oaks, man, I was trapping. Started taking this shit serious, and all the bad shit started happening. I dropped Cold World, and that shit really started happening. The homies that I thought were for years, they turned their back on me. I thought that we was family, man. The homies that I thought with for years, they turned their back on me. I thought that we was family.
We don't care about how you feel.
Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. I know why these niggas hating. I am the shit, no toilet paper. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Light up a blunt and I face it. Rock bottom, man, I cannot take it. I know why these niggas hating. I am the shit, no toilet paper.
Been on the boo hot, how you staying there all night? Cause I can't forget about them cold nights. And I promised granddad I'ma do right. See, granddad, I told you I'ma do right. Cold nights, what you know about them cold nights? And I'm never going back to my so cold nights. Cold nights, ice in my veins cause of cold nights. Fire in the heart, frozen by cold nights. The devil always testing me, sometimes successfully. Been known what's the death of me. Just check the recipe. I watch my mama struggle while I watch my homie hustle. Granddad taught me about forgiving the blind, taught me off the muscle. I'm splitting the two while I'm stuck in this loop. Look at my eyes, don't see pain and you missed the Magoo. I was that little smart nigga hanging with the older crew. So my OG strap nigga sold to you. Time to ride nigga, but smoke willing to die nigga. All for my OG to smile back and be like my nigga. Disconnect at home, I get lovers are wrong. Don't know about adolescence since 9 been grown. I stopped taking pictures and that smile was gone. I seen death firsthand, my Falcon's mind was gone. At that point realized that my time was long. My heart grew a little colder, my round was gone. Been on the boo hot, how you staying there all night? Cause I can't forget about them cold nights. And I promised granddad I'ma do right. See, granddad, I told you I'ma do right. Cold nights, what you know about them cold nights? And I'm never going back to my so cold nights. Cold nights, ice in my veins cause of cold nights. Fire in the heart, frozen by cold nights. Friends say I dodged death with no effort. Choose you was careful, you wasn't thereful. And my soul ripped and tear slow. I stopped opening up cause my soul couldn't bear more. Very few I cared for, I've been left for dead bro. You can't lead me down your path, I know what's down that road. This ain't my first harvest, I know what my seeds soul absorbing like photosynthesis. I'm all balanced chemically, life is full of patterns and I hope you feel my symmetry. It's a crown left in my DNA, double check my chemistry. I'm a king and a god, I don't need no embassy. Earn stripes in them cold nights, I see through your tendencies. Of bitches who you meant to be, no wonder you ain't feeling me. Step in the club, ice grilling me, I swear you niggas killing me. Swear I ain't gon' make it, nigga, tell me what my ceiling be. Like April 22nd, Westbrook, you're gonna hear from me. This could've been avoided, now the text on the receipt, nigga. Been on the boo hot, how you staying there all night? Cause I can't forget about them cold nights. And I promised granddad I'ma do right. See, granddad, I told you I'ma do right. Cold nights, what you know about them cold nights? And I'm never going back to my so cold nights. Cold nights, ice in my veins cause of cold nights. Fire in the heart, frozen by cold nights.
Let's go, yo. Fuck hoes, get money. Coming from the city where it's never been sunny. Quick to the point, niggas down to get bloody. Where I bang out beats, niggas bang for a 20 out. See niggas die over hoes on that hustle and flow. I'm just out for the dough. Since I walked through the door, it's like the whole thing changed, nigga. Nothing was the same, even now you're not the same, nigga. Though I try, it's like I can't maintain, nigga. All is well though, it still flames, nigga. Still the one that they hate to love, so I just chalk it up to being dope as fuck. You ain't familiar with my pedigree, purebred monster. Welcome to the dope show. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say you didn't know I was fresh out the gate. Certified dope since 1978. Break.
Certified dope, certified dope, certified dope, certified dope.
Yeah.
Certified dope, certified dope, certified dope since 1978.
Break.
Certified dope, certified dope.
Yeah.
Certified dope, certified dope.
Yeah.
Certified dope, certified dope.
I told him,
Certified dope since
yo, you fucking with them big boys, stay around them big toys, sitting on them big wheels. Look at how I stay trill. Status be like OG. Oh, I think they know me. No, I think they like me. Wanna be just like me. Fly it in a new Benz, sitting on them new rims, higher than a pilot, smoking on ultraviolet. Gurkha and some Douce got me on my Cool J, got me feeling Friday night fresh on a Tuesday. Camouflage all up in my Ray-Bans, Cartier wristwear, stones on my watch and I don't really need a wingman. 6 rings and I ain't talking about kicks, but these super magazines got me thinking I'm the shit. In my stance like a B-boy, swag like a D-boy. Used to work the D-list, now I just destroy everything in my path. You know me, boy. Hoes say I got that glow like Bruce Leroy.
certified dope, certified dope, certified dope, certified dope.
Yup.
Certified
told him certified dopes is 1978. Yeah. I told him. Yeah. I told him. Yeah. I told him. Look, I do it for La Familia. Been here before, like man, it's so familiar. Blame it on my past life struggle. Bad boy in a bubble, about to bubble till I pop from the bottom to the top. On my hustle like a Carter, trying to charter me a G5. Fly with no restrictions, I'm just trying to chase these blue skies. Fuck a slice, I want the whole pie. Pledge my allegiance to the grind until we all die. Oh my God, flow sicker than Ebola. Even though these 2 years I was in a coma. Now I'm on the corner like I'm 16 pitching. Passing out hits, you niggas ain't know the mission. Man, I'm back like I never left. Still so deaf, got bitches still singing, let me catch my breath. Don't say you didn't know that I was fresh out the gate. Certified dopes is 1978. Great.
Certified dope, certified dope.
Yeah.
Certified dope, certified dope.
Yeah.
Certified dope, certified dope.
I told him certified dopes is 1978. Great.
Certified dope, certified dope.
Yes, sir.
Certified dope, certified dope.
You know.
Certified dope, certified dope.
I told him certified dopes is 1978. Great.
On the beat.
I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. Call my brother King Venom, tell him roll up a blunt. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. I ain't on no hot shit, but I keep a heater tucked. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. If your weed ain't loud, nigga, shut the fuck up. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. She say she wanna get dirty, well you can take a sip of mud. She say she wanna smoke with me. She hit the blunt once, now I'm deep off in the ovaries. She wetter than the ocean, I ain't foreign but I'm overseas. She threw that ass back and I attack it, ain't no hoe in me. I think I spilled my cup, I give a fuck to no degree. She hanging on your boy just like a rosary. Pour a 4 for me, then I pull off in the foreign, driving locally. She texts me, provoking me. I got away with words, call it poetry. I told her I'ma swerve, I said it jokingly. She hit me with a hopefully. I reply totally. Red zone, you a mess, I know I am, I say that boastfully. Now back to the cup like I'm supposed to be. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. Call my brother King Venom, tell him roll up a blunt. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. I ain't on no hot shit, but I keep a heater tucked. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. If your weed ain't loud, nigga, shut the fuck up. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. She say she wanna get dirty, well you can take a sip of mud. Big blunt smoking, never choking, man, the shit I'm rolling is fucking potent, it's lean coated, I need a moment. I smoke so much weed, I should probably grow it, or get a sponsorship, cause you know that I'll promote it. Sipping heavily, if styrofoam cups had feelings, they would be scared of me. You all know the recipe, candy's a necessity. In my Yeti cup, I conceal my shit cleverly, or hit Sonics up, Route 44 cup preferably. And if you ever have a cold, this is the remedy. It helps me tremendously when it's cold essentially. Red Zone Reaper in the cup, but what's the contents? It's sold separately. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. Call my brother King Venom, tell him roll up a blunt. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. I ain't on no hot shit, but I keep a heater tucked. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. If your weed ain't loud, nigga, shut the fuck up. I just pulled a 4 up in my cup. She say she wanna get dirty, well you can take a sip of mud.
She my demon, she like my semen. I gave her money for no reason. I snatched her soul, now she fiendin'. Now she need me, she my demon. Shawty so bad, that's my hell angel. They calling me Charlie, I might be the devil. I'm hot like the sun, you can't touch me with pebbles. I walk through the scene, unimpressed by these niggas and bitches complaining about shit that come out of my mouth. Foolish, calling my demons, just smoking, no lose it. Go take a trip, can't get caught on the cruiser. If you racing me, you already losing. If she feeding for a nigga, she already choosing. She'll come to the room, make a movie. She'll suck on it like a smoothie. And I don't hit good place when I'm cleaning my plate. Blacker the berry, sweeter than juice. I'm fucking her friends, I done ran through the crew. She say I'm a dog, well I must be Scooby. Shawty so bad, head game on stupid. And you better give me head when we go to the movies. And I done turn the angel to a motherfucking demon. Ooh, she like my semen. She stopped breathing when I'm leaving. She start calling, texting, hitting my line. What you want? She my demon. She like my semen. I gave her money for no reason. I snatched her soul. Now she fiendin'. Now she need me. She my demon. Betty. She didn't know what she got into till she put her at 11. So that little bitch straight to heaven. We ain't stopped till it hit 7. When I left, she called me quickly just to see if I need money. In the same bus, say she miss me, and my mind just hit a good lick. Pull up to the Mac crib. Hot friend like the Prince, no wheels. A demon, Lord, know I'm sinning. If I hit it more than once, we still friends. We getting money, we ain't chillin', yeah. She my demon. She like my semen. I gave her money for no reason. I snatched her soul. Now she fiendin'. Now she need me. She my demon. My demon. She my demon. She like my semen. Oh, I love my demon, y'all. My demon. Oh, you my demon. Yeah, come be my demon. Lavish, call me lavish, y'all. Come be my demon.
Most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family. Never forgetting where we came from. Thanks, Sean. So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. You need somebody.
Bitch, I'm fresh out of Jones County, can't you tell where I'm from? Chicken plant, pay the bills, and makes a night in my lungs. I'm from a city where every fucking side is a slum. You get made straight A's, but at night you go dumb. Bitch, I'm fresh out of Jones County, can't you tell where I'm from? Chicken plant, pay the bills, and makes a night in my lungs. I'm from a city where every fucking side is slum. You get made straight A's, but at night you go dumb. Bitch, I where they made me. Jones County since a baby, Queensburg since the birth of me. No wonder I'm fucking crazy, hustling in my bone gristle. How I'm living, fuck you pay me, call me what you want. Just don't fucking call me lazy. R.I.P. Booker T. Johnson, hold it down since the 60s. He passed the crown to me, now T.R.E. the committee. I don't care where I move to, I'm a rep for my city. You can hate if you want, but real niggas fuck with me. I was 59, forever be in my blood. A few minutes out and turn it back, I always show love. Meet me between them bricks, tornadoes, we turning up. Salute to TDK and NRB for showing love. What you know about slanging CD from South 4 to the west side. And a slab bass bumper, you know I'm pumping the best high. Having a chopper ain't shit if you ain't busting it chest high. Hit you with the first, who the rest of the clip I let fly. Bitch, I'm fresh out of Jones County, can't you tell where I'm from? Chicken plant, pay the bills, and makes a night in my lungs. I'm from a city where every fucking side is a slum. You get made straight A's, but at night you go dumb. Bitch, I'm fresh out of Jones County, can't you tell where I'm from? Chicken plant, pay the bills, and makes a night in my lungs. I'm from a city where every fucking side is a slum. You get made straight A's, but at night you go dumb. Bitch, I'm
straight out of Jones County, know you heard where I'm from. Matter of fact, I rep the Ave, you see the tat on my arm. Home of the golden tornadoes where them sirens are run. Cause it's a warning to outsiders who don't really want none. Cause we be bustin' and hustlin', we be banging and slanging. It's in our blood cause our ancestors are militant gangsters. And yeah, we full of emotion and wear our heart on our sleeve. Cause we all feel that we made it ever since Keem hit the lead. I take a trip down living just to holler and teeth. Because I fuck with the youngin' and we gon' pour us some drinks. Queen Bird, Mouse Bird, free my nigga the white. And Little G, when you touch down, we blowin' killer all night. And they gon' smell it southeast, that's Lil Drizzy and Zach. And we gon' all have the munchies, get up now for some snacks. Got some jewelry, get some bitches at the Sawmill Mall. And they gon' say,
Jones County, man, we heard about y'all.
Bitch, I'm fresh out of Jones County, can't you tell where I'm from? Chicken plant, pay the bills, and make some night in my lungs. I'm from a city where every fucking side is a slum. You can make straight A's, but at night you go dumb. Bitch, I'm fresh out of Jones County, can't you tell where I'm from? Chicken plant, pay the bills, and make some night in my lungs. I'm from a city where every fucking side is a slum. You can make straight A's, but at night you go dumb. Bitch, I'm
you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. You need somebody, ain't nobody to give it back.
Real quick, bro, you know, we was talking about, you know, your musical background and, you know, how you produce. And one thing that I don't know if, I don't think that my listenership quite know about you yet is that you're a skilled pianist, you know? And you did like a Prince tribute during one of your shows. Like, what was the energy and the performance like from your vantage point?
It was interesting because I got asked, like, people that know me know like I'm a huge Prince fan. You know, like that's just been, you know, my thing from jump. Like actually when I first started like rapping and putting stuff out there, people was expecting me to be doing like, I don't know, like funk and R&B just because that's where I came from. But, you know, by the time that I did this show, you know, I was well into, you know, my whole Flames way of being and doing hip hop, and I got asked to do like this tribute. And you had like all these other different genres of music, you know, different style artists that were, you know, singing and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, I feel like in the 90s, you know, Prince kind of fell off a little bit and people weren't that deep into his catalog when it was apparent that he, you know, was really discovering hip hop for himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there was like this period in the early mid-90s where he was trying his hands at like a lot of, you know, rapping. You know, whether it was just on breaks in songs or he had, you know, a whole hip-hop joints. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm seeing all these people doing everything real traditional. You know, it was like, you know, they're doing it real, you know, almost like cover band, karaoke kind of stuff. You know, so I'm like, well, let me take, you know, what Prince did in hip-hop and, you know, take it all the way hip-hop. Okay. So I went back and, you know, I started, you know, chopping up samples and, you know, rewriting, like, some of his more hip-hop records from there, you know, so I could, you know, kind of put my own spin on it, like, take what he did and, you know, fully immerse it in hip-hop. And I just think nobody was expecting it. You know, when my name was on the flyer for the show, there was a lot of questions about, you know, well, what's he going to do? Because Prince was a singer. And I felt like I was able to, I don't know, present what should be classic material to a new audience. Like by the time I was done, you know, everybody was up and it was a great thing. The energy was beautiful. Like it got so well noticed. Like people put like footage on Instagram, this and that. 12 hours after my performance, I got a cease and desist letter from Paisley Park. Because people have been sharing my performance on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm like, it made enough noise that it got his attention.
Hey, I definitely
so
that,
I
bro.
always, that's another thing that I took and framed down here in the studio just to say, hey, you know, for those 12 hours, I was on his radar. You know, little old me. You know, but it was a good time. It was a good time.
You know,
what was you about to say, man? I get the rambling and shit.
One thing I want to definitely say, looking at your project 1978, man, I can see the Prince influence from the background to the crown, you know, to even you know the way you have your font on the album cover. And one thing I want to speak on, bro, you know, on Sneaker Pimp 2, like you flex your sneakerhead knowledge in a way that was just so innovative and captivating. Like, I want to understand, like, when did you first become a sneakerhead, and how do you weave, like, your love for sneakers so flawlessly with the concepts and flows?
Well, you know, like, I had a love for sneakers. Like, I feel like you couldn't grow up in the 80s and 90s, you know, and not have, like, an appreciation for, like, you know, pretty much all the OG editions, you know. Like, I remember, you know, seeing... I don't know, like seeing stuff on like album covers and this and that, you know, but I wasn't in a position to afford those, you know, back in the day. So like, you know, once I got a little bit older and started making a little bit of money, you know, the first thing I started doing was like amping up my shoe collection. You know what I mean? I started selling like tapes out my locker when I was like 14, 15. And, you know, pretty much all the money I make will go to, you know, music and shoes. You know, and like, but that's the thing, I've never been like a flipper. So like, everything that I have, like, I still have like, I don't know, the original 11s, like the North Carolina powder blue, original, first pair of Jordans I ever bought.
That's crazy, because I actually got the black and red 11s on right now.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was there when they, you know, when the originals dropped, and they, like, I still got them in a box up in the closet, along with the retros they put out a couple years back. You know, but it's just, you know, it's just been my thing, man. And whether it's going from Jordans, like Supers and skater shoes, man,
Okay, hold on. So what you know about skater shoes? Because I definitely rock with my Osiris's, you feel me?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those. I got some of those down there. But I was really into Supras for like a long period of time. Like, and what got me stuck on them, honestly, was I remember, as you know, the whole Prince thing and my favorite color being purple as well. What really sold me is they had this pair of purple and gold Vadas that they dropped, like a limited edition drop.
I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, and I saw those and fell in love and had to cop them. And then, like, and I didn't care what they felt like. I just knew they looked like something I had to have on me when I left the house. And then, you know, I got there and, you know, I got them and realized how, you know, nice of a shoe it actually was. So I went on like a huge super kick for like 3-4 years. You know, I mean, there's probably easily 100 pair in my storage. Like, cause sometimes I tend to overdo it. So like every color frame, you know, every color I could get them in, every style I could get them in, I went a little nuts. But, and that's what kind of got me, that's what kind of started the whole, like, Sneaker Pimp record. Like, I did, Sneaker Pimp 1 was on, like, a mixtape that I did here locally. You know, and it got you know, it got like a real good reaction in like live shows and stuff like that. And it was more, I don't know, it was more jazzy. It was more like I did with a live band a lot, so we was able to kind of riff off that a crazy way. But then when I went back to do the album, I'm like, you know, like a lot of my favorite artists kind of had like their, you know, signature, you know, kind of song that keeps going. So I'm like, well, when I go back to do this album, I should find a way to, you know, incorporate Sneaker Pimp in it. But I felt like if I'm gonna do it, it can't sound like the last one.
Right.
Matter of fact, when I get,
it had to be an
when
evolution.
I get done, when I get done, I'm gonna send you the first one. I'm gonna send you the first one, just for your listening pleasure. See how it evolved.
Indeed. But I definitely want to dive into your whole discography, bro, because like I said, like your concepts and how you interweave your flow, how you do your syllables, how you even like your cadence, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a trumpet player at times. Like, I love how you control the crowd with your flow, your expressions. So yeah, I'm definitely a supporter of yours. So I got to tap in. I got to get my library full with some Flames, man.
Definitely, man. I got you. I point you to everything this year, and even the stuff that ain't. But yeah, man. But that's. I think that all comes from, you know, the musician background. You know, like I treat vocals like I would treat, like my lyrics and the way I deliver. You know, the same way I would like a guitar solo.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to find those, you know, those grooves and those crannies and those, you know, notes to make it fit and stand out.
And I noticed you play the pause a lot too. Like, just like a violin player would play the pause. Like, I noticed that you do that. Like, you find your own little pocket, man. I salute that.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. It's just, you know, it's like I said, I treat the way I lay down vocals or the way I write just the way I would layer an instrument. You know, you gotta, you know, because sometimes you just gotta give it room to breathe. You know, like I feel like, and that's just kind of, you know, like everybody, you know, does all the double time and this and that, you know, which I think is dope. But I feel like sometimes you miss out on some of the important bits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like replay value. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's cool, you know, just to play with the space. You know, like when I was coming up, I listened to a lot of Joni Mitchell.
Okay.
And she's like the master of that pause and creating space. You know, you give it just enough time for it to, you know, kind of linger and resonate, and then you fill it in. And I think, you know, that's somebody else that, I mean, not quite hip hop, but somebody I learned a lot from. You know, when it comes to being a songwriter.